The story revolves around Han, a single mother quietly navigating life's hardships as she prepares for the traditional Lunar New Year. This year's New Year isn't filled with the boisterous laughter of a large family, but in her small house, a persistent warmth still lingers, kindled by maternal love and the resilience of a woman accustomed to the elements. On a chilly morning at the end of the year, Han smiles and greets everyone, wishing them a warm, peaceful, and happy New Year with their families. Han's voice isn't loud, but it's sincere enough to touch hearts. She thanks those who have silently accompanied and followed her and her son's journey, and hopes everyone will continue to spread kindness with a simple subscription or a loving share. In the days leading up to Tet, Han and her son Tom are busy cleaning and tidying up their small house. They wipe down every window frame, sweep the yard, and plant a few more potted flowers on the porch. Tom busied himself beside his mother, his tiny hands stained with dirt as they helped harvest the green vegetables in the garden. Their life was simple, just the two of them, lacking in many things, but in Han's eyes, there was never a lack of hope. As long as her son was healthy, as long as Tet, Lunar New Year, still came, that was enough. Not only did Han care for her own home, but she also carried her warm heart throughout the small neighborhood. Bundles of fresh vegetables, bundles of sticky rice cakes, bonchung and bon tet carefully wrapped with her savings, Han gave to Miss Koa, Mr. Thon, Miss Dung. The gifts weren't big, but they contained genuine sharing, making the Tet atmosphere here feel closer and more humane than ever. Amidst the hardships of the year-end, Han understood that Tet wasn't about lavish feasts, but about how people treated each other with kindness. And in that small house, amidst the scent of freshly baked cakes, the colors of new flowers, and Tom's laughter, a simple yet full of love Tet quietly arrived. After visiting relatives and delivering New Year's gifts, Han led her son Tom back home. The village road was deserted on this late afternoon, the wind howling, carrying a chill that penetrated deep into their skin. In Han's hands was a basket of gifts, more than half empty, but her heart was heavy with a vague sense of unease. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared from the front. Mrs. Bin, the former loan shark, stood blocking their path, her cold, sharp gaze fixed on the mother and son. Han's heart tightened. Instinctively, she pulled Tom close behind her. "You're quite good at hiding, Han." Mrs. Bin's voice was low and menacing. "How long do you intend to default on your husband's debt?" Han's voice trembled, trying to remain calm. "I didn't borrow that money, and I didn't sign any papers. Please leave my son and me alone. Today is New Year's Day." But before she could finish speaking, Mrs. Bin stepped forward, her tone more aggressive than ever. She cursed and pressured Han to pay the debt left behind by her ex-husband, even though she knew Han had nothing to do with it. Seeing Han's resolute refusal, Mrs. Bin immediately changed her tone, her eyes flashing with cruelty. "If you don't pay, don't blame me. Your child, will he be safe?" The words were like a knife piercing Han's heart. Tom clung to his mother's shirt in fear, his eyes welling up with tears. In that chaotic moment, Mrs. Bin suddenly lunged forward, trying to snatch the child. Han screamed in panic, hugging her son tightly. A fierce struggle ensued between the two, Tom's cries mingling with the shouts and struggles echoing down the deserted street. "Let go of my child!" Han cried out in despair. That desperate cry attracted attention, but no one was there at that moment. The atmosphere became suffocatingly tense. At the most critical moment, a decisive voice rang out. "Stop." Hai appeared, stepping quickly forward, standing firmly in front of the mother and child. His gaze was cold, his voice firm. "What are you doing? Threatening children in broad daylight?" Mrs. Bin paused for a moment but remained aggressive. Hai didn't back down, taking out his phone and bluntly saying, "If you continue, I'll call the police immediately. Do you think bullying women and children can get away with it?" This time, Mrs. Bin's confidence faltered. Faced with Hoi's resolute gaze and attitude, she could only grit her teeth, utter some resentful words, and then turn and leave in anger. Han stood silently, her legs weak, tightly embracing the trembling Tom in her arms. Tears streamed down her face, no longer from fear, but from relief after a life-or-death moment. Huey turned back, softly saying, "It's all right. You and your child are safe now." In the chilly afternoon at the end of the year, that timely appearance was a rare beacon of hope, kindling a fragile glimmer of faith in the single mother who had endured so much hardship. And Han understood that, no matter how harsh life may be, there are still helping hands ready to reach out at the most opportune moment. After the recent events, Han was still in shock. She thanked Hai in a trembling voice, her eyes still glistening with tears. Once they had calmed down, a moment of silence passed. Then Huey suddenly looked intently at Han, as if searching for an old memory. "Han, wasn't it? A year ago, you brought a baby to me for help?" Han froze. Her heart trembled. Memories from that year suddenly flooded back. A rainy afternoon, a frail, abandoned baby, held tightly in her arms, brought to Hoi for help. At that time, Han only wished for the child to have a decent home, even though she herself couldn't take care of anyone else. Unexpectedly, the two of them met again in such a difficult situation today. Huey smiled softly, his eyes softening. "That baby is very healthy now. She's growing up quickly and is loved by my whole family." A few minutes later, Han was reunited with the child from that day. In the warm embrace of Huai's family, the baby was now rosy-cheeked, lively, and with clear, bright eyes. Seeing that image, Han couldn't help but be moved. Tears fell from her eyes, not from sorrow, but from happiness. She understood that her trust from all those years ago had been placed in the right place, in the right person. That unexpected encounter left both of them speechless with emotion. Amidst life's many vicissitudes, they believed this wasn't just a coincidence, but a silent, arranged destiny. Afterward, Hui offered to take Han home. He wanted to see firsthand the current life of the woman who had silently done such a kind deed years ago. On the way back, Hui calmly explained the legal aspects to Han. He asserted that Han had no obligation to repay the debt because she hadn't signed the loan agreement, and that Mrs. Bin's threats and assault constituted a serious violation of the law. "You are not alone," Hui said confidently. "If necessary, you must seek legal protection. No one has the right to harm you and your child." Hearing those words, Han felt both comforted and burdened with anxiety. She bowed her head and softly said that she was still afraid that the creditors would seek out her frail, elderly mother-in-law, who was no longer strong enough to withstand another crisis. Hoi was silent for a moment, then replied in a warm but firm voice. He understood her worry, and even more so, he understood that Han's path ahead would be fraught with challenges. But at least, from this moment on, she no longer had to bear everything alone. Amidst the calm afternoon breeze, the car slowly rolled along, carrying her lingering worries, but also a glimmer of hope that had just begun to ignite in the heart of the single mother. And Han knew that some encounters, though late, were the most opportune moments to change a person's life. Hui visited the simple bamboo house where Han and Tom were living. The small, simple, but tidy house was where the mother and daughter relied on each other through difficult times. Sitting inside, Hai listened as Han recounted her daily struggle for survival. The two of them mainly earned their living by selling seasonal fruit. A good harvest made things easier, but the off-season brought them a constant struggle for food. Sympathizing with Han's situation, Hui took out some money, saying it was a thank you for Han having brought the abandoned baby to his family years ago, helping them have a child today. However, Han firmly refused, saying that she did it purely out of compassion, without expecting anything in return. Hai said nothing more. Before leaving, he and his family quietly left a sum of money along with their phone number, hoping it would ease some of Han's difficulties. At the end of the clip, after Hui had left, Han accidentally discovered the money left behind. She was stunned, feeling both worried and deeply moved. Han carefully put the money away, deciding to contact the person to return it when she had the means, because she didn't want to take advantage of someone's kindness. The story concludes in the atmosphere of the approaching Lunar New Year. Amidst the remaining difficulties, kindness, compassion, and hope for a more peaceful future for Han and her daughter still exist.